Hello, everybody. Once again, I'm William McCracken Jr., aka Zorvalchan Less Than Guru. Right here, we have Mars, the video cat. And for today's Palladium House Rule topic, I want to talk about critical strikes or crits when you hit and critical defenses. So, if we look at just the Palladium First Edition rules, it has the definition of a critical strike here that says the numbers indicate what a character rolls to hit in order to inflict critical damage, doing the usual or doing double the usual damage. This must be a natural roll only, not subsidized by bonuses to hit. Okay, depending on what game system you play, you might hear roll, which means the roll of the die, and then maybe the total, which is the die roll plus bonuses. In Palladium, the roll is the die roll plus bonuses. If it says natural roll, then that is the die itself. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But in Palladium, there's lots of different ways to do crits. As you can see on this various hand-to-hand charts, some here you get a critical strike on a 17 through 20, but as it said here, it has to be a natural. But it's still 17, 18, 19, 20. That's pretty darn good, and you get that at 6th level. Or it might be from behind, so it's not even a roll. If you're behind, then you're going to do ×3 damage. So that's pretty devastating. Where the part that you're going to want to think about as a game master for your table or get your players involved in it is when you start looking at how parry works, because unlike D&D and how we've discussed before, parries, dodges, active defenses, you roll a d20 for that too. So what happens if you crit both times? Meaning the hit is a crit and the miss is the crit. And I actually thought this might be in the rules, but I checked 2nd edition and I could not find it in 2nd edition either. But a lot of people think, or have the house rule, that's fine as well. And maybe it's in one of the other game lines that I didn't look at. But they will have it that the 20 always hits no matter what the defense is. So if somebody rolls a 19 and all their bonuses add up to higher than what the hit was, the crit still hits. And reverse that, and they also say the only thing that can prevent a crit is a defensive crit, such as you roll a natural 20 on your defense, whether that's a parry or dodge or what have you in the various lines of Palladium. But if we're looking just at the main book here, the only thing that we have for parry and dodge that states is if the parry roll equals or is higher than the attacker's roll to strike, the attack is successfully parried, preventing any kind of damage. Note, defenders always win ties, and that's what I've stated before, and that's why you have to get above armor rating, or if you roll equal to a save value, you're the defender, you're the one saving, so then that counts. So it's not always an above. Just always think, am I the defender? Is the thing happening to me and I'm trying to prevent it? But let's move on to dodge. Dodge has very similar wording. They announce that they're dodging, forfeit their next attack. And if you remember a previous episode when I was talking about how you would get rid of that next attack, I take it off the back end, but as written, it is the next attack that they lose that the 20-side roll is exactly like a parry. The defender must equal or better the attacker's roll to be successful. So in Palladium terms, this isn't natural rolls. This is roll. So, like I said, you have a lot of house rules out there that say a 20 always hits and only a natural 20 can stop a natural 20 and things like that. But the crit ranges can be higher than just a 20. So what do I do in my own game? Because it's good when it happens to you and it's bad when it happens against you. And what I mean by this is if I roll a 20 and I haven't got to the level that I get my critical range value for natural rolls higher. I crit. I've rolled a 20. That's awesome. And then the other person rolls a 19, but their bonuses are better. And how it states here is if the roll is higher or not the natural roll. And if we use a Palladium parlance, then that means that the defense should completely negate it. So that sucks for you as a crit. But then it also sucks if the person rolls a 19 and with their bonuses, it's still higher than you rolling with a 20 with bonuses. And the game master saying, sorry, they were higher. You did not equal or succeed over their value that they rolled. How do you do that? So this is where my house rule is something that you might to take into consideration. What I do is I do both. So here I'm bringing up my own rule for natural criticals. So if an attack is a natural critical, so I'm not talking only 20s because sometimes it might be that 17, 18, 19, or 20 that I talked about earlier. But if the attack is a natural critical and the active defense is not a natural 20 because there is no critical defenses on anything at all the way Palladium is set up, but I wanted that 20 to mean something on defense, that if the defense is not a 20, but it's still higher, then the critical will only do normal damage. But riders such as the death blow, the critical multipliers, anything that is added like stun as well on that natural critical range are eliminated. So at least if you either rolled or have gotten to a high enough level where you have a greater range, you still get the attack if your total exceeds the defender's total. Then the second part of this is if the active defense is a natural 20, but it does not equal or exceed the critical attack total, then the attack still hits, but again, without those riders. So if the person rolls a 17 and they crit and it's still greater than your natural 20 on a defense, you're at least by rolling that 20 are going to get rid of those riders. And then if the active defense with a natural 20 to your defense both equals or exceeds the critical total, all damage is eliminated. So basically, if your defense equals or exceeds, but it's not a natural 20, you at least get rid of the riders of a critical. If you roll that natural 20 and then it is still lower than the attack, it also gets rid of the riders. The only way to fully get rid of all the damage is if you roll the 20 and you equal or exceed the total. And this is only for the criticals, only for the things with riders, that natural 20. But on those cases like that critical, the death blow and things like that, you could get rid of that, possibly save yourself. So that's what I do. Again, if you want to do it raw, that's fine. Defender has to have a roll higher, the equal or higher than the attacker, and then it's all or nothing, done deal. But I like the little play on if you're rolling that 20 to hit, or you've made yourself gotten high enough level to give yourself that range, that should mean something. But as the defender, rolling that natural 20 would really suck if you did that and you still got hit and critted or critical blow, stun, etc. So that's my rules. Hopefully they can help you out, at least think about criticals. Having said that, once again, I'm Lynn Crafton Jr., aka Zorvach. I'm Less Than Guru, and until next time, I will catch you later.